This podcast was recorded during the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Without the labor of the writers and actors currently on strike, Wonka and a lot of the other things we cover on this podcast wouldn't exist.
Man, just another calm, lonely day in the well, Felicia. Nothing else really going on. I don't know. I kind of scratched the Anastasia DVD, so I'm not sure what else to... Do you hear that?
I think the oven's beeping. I need to get my pizza rolls out.
Oh, good. Wait. No, that's not the oven beep. That's chimes.
Chimes?
It's little bells? And
Bells.
It sounds... Okay, I might be hearing things. It sounds like I'm hearing a Pure Imagination cover or something, but I...
No. I think I'm hearing it too.
Do you... Oh, come with me.
Wow.
And you'll be in a world where the Wonka trailer released. What? What siren sings this? My goodness.
Wait, are you like bursting into song in the Wonka?
So in this scene, thank you, Jeans, for interviewing me. In this scene, what I was doing was I was acting as Elaine on the podcast, and also having to act as the siren. Singing the good news. And then I realized the next scene I wanted to do would require me to go third person, which was going to be a bit much, where we would walk out into our, like, I mean, we say we're in a well. It's essentially a sewer system. So, like, going to the main well part and looking up and actually seeing a ton of faces looking down at us, smiling, and just dropping a ton of stuff on us, which we can now recreate right now.
Oh my god! This feels like this feels torturous, medieval torturous.
Oh god. Felicia, it's the trailer. It finally dropped, and it dropped on us hard multiple times.
From so a crowd of people, like a Roman Colosseum.
I blame Paul King. I blame the crew. I blame the cast.
It's Paul King.
I blame everyone who's ever made an article about this.
Throwing things at us.
Paul King specifically looking down, going ha ha ha, because that's how he laughs and runs away. And yeah, welcome to Wonka Watch, the podcast that is covering everything about the Wonkaverse, and was started because we wanted to figure out why the hell there was a Wonka prequel being made starring Timothée Chalamet. And we've been doing this for a year and a half, and we kind of forget from time to time that the movie is actually happening. And last Tuesday, when this comes out last Tuesday,
I thought the day would never come.
The trailer dropped, and we had 24 hours notice, less than 24 hours notice. We had mentioned in our previous mini episode that this was interesting timing in our personal lives to have this happen, because we had a lot going on, and so moving things around has been quite busy, minimal sleep, lots of energy and excitement. But now that we did our initial reactions, now we are about to do a deep dive on this trailer. I know Felicia has pulled a ton of articles, so we're going to have so many sources to pull from. We are about to I genuinely, in my head, was like, this is the Chaos Conspiracy Theory episode, because now we actually, and we make predictions at the end of each episode about what we think will happen in the prequel, around
it feels
the
like there's
prequel,
more
marketing.
stakes to the predictions now, because like we know things, like
I can't just fucking say shit about the instruments. I can't be like, no flugelhorn anymore. I'm gonna have to be like, okay, I actually, like, there's no reason for me to fail the test. But yes, I'm your host, Elaine.
And I'm your host, Felicia. Big day. Big days.
Day.
Big
I
day,
mean,
boys.
This whole episode is the Wonka Watch segment.
Exactly. But
like,
I do still have Wonka Watch.
God bless.
One of these things that they've thrown down at us from the fucking bleachers in the Roman Colosseum aqueduct that is for some reason in the Wonka well. That's what I was picturing.
That were
I don't
put
know
together
if that's
that
what
I've never thought would be put together. That changed my brain.
It threw down like 6 fucking articles, because of course there's like 8 articles.
Of course. And of course you found all of them.
Yeah. The first thing we want to talk about, which is, this is blasphemous to say, I'm kind of more excited about this than the movie.
Oh my god, this.
A movie novelization is happening. And here's why. Like, movie novelizations get you in the head of the character in a way that okay. in any other context, I would not be excited about a movie novelization, but for this podcast, that is so much content.
For sure. I totally respect where you're coming from.
And I don't know. I think it makes me happy that we will have things to talk about that isn't just the movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's, again, newish Wonka content. It'll have more, descriptions and stuff. You can't, the written inside, like you said, inside the character's head that you don't always get in a movie. I saw it and I went, God fucking damn it. So I'm glad that one of us is really positive about it. I think it'll be probably hilarious, but the twinkle in your eye is shining so brightly. I need sunglasses.
So Shabelle Pounder has been announced to be writing the movie novelization. She's the author of Bad Mermaids Make Waves and the Witch Wars series.
I've never read those, but those sound badass.
They are for children, like for 8-year-olds.
I can't wait for us to have to read it for context as one of our episodes leading up to the release of the Wonka movie.
Actually, it's coming out the day the movie releases, so we're going to have to read this after. This is going to be a post-Wonka.
I'm sorry, is this one of those high school things where we're going to have reading homework over break?
That's
so hilarious.
She said of the project, Doll's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was such a pivotal text when I was growing up, and that chocolate river is as vivid in my mind as any real childhood memories. It's been a special project to work on, and the script is as magical and hilarious as the story that inspired it, and it has been so much fun adapting it for kids to devour in book form.
Cute. Okay.
So there you go, guys. So now we have, I think, 4 interviews with Paul King? No, 3. 3.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. No.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4. Okay, sorry, my bad.
Okay.
4 interviews with Paul King. They're all exclusive and all have slightly different quotes. Now, were a lot of these him saying the same thing, just slightly different ways? Yes, but little snippets in each. So the first one we're going to cover is from Entertainment Weekly. Like many a cinema lover of a certain age, Paul King, the filmmaker behind Paddington Films, grew up on Gene Wilder in 1971's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. From pure imagination to the look of the Oompa Loompas, the 45-year-old director tells EW that, to me, felt like what a Willy Wonka movie should be. I didn't want to reinvent those things, because it felt that the 1971 movie had come up with these incredibly enduring, iconic looks. What I wanted this movie to be was like a companion piece to that movie. If you imagine those people in the world 25 years earlier, that was my starting process. Eventually, he would grow into that person in that factory. So it was a starting place, which I think is a good, this is good context for the ethos behind the movie, you know?
Yes.
Chalamet's Willie opens a chocolate shop using the knowledge of sweets he amassed from his travels. But launching his own storefront is difficult when you must face the chocolate cartel, the combined forces of the business tycoons on the candy scene, Mr. Prodnose, Mr. Fickelgruber, and Mr. Slugworth. So it turns out the idea for the film was suggested by the producer, David Heyman, after Paul King finished up Paddington 2. And then Paul King said, I think the reason I was so attracted to it was because I loved Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as a little boy. It was one of the first books I ever properly fell in love with and was reading to myself. I had this very old-fashioned copy where all the pages came out because I read it so much. As a kid, he liked the stupid, oh, the kid blows up, and that kind of stuff. But as an adult, he was drawn to the emotional core. Where is the emotional core? Because I haven't found it.
Yeah, I think, and we'll talk about this more, I think there's a lot of...
I mean, we are jaded and bitter, also.
We are, that's true. I'll save it, actually, when we're in the trailer, it'll make more sense. But yeah, I have a lot of feelings about, the way that... not all the emotions are at the same level, and obviously you don't want to be one note, but I feel like in this trailer, the way they've pasted it together, it's not matching, if that makes sense. But I could see it having some moments,
what he's saying here is Dahl makes the storybook world with these larger-than-life characters and ridiculous comic things that happen, but at the same time, you deeply care. I don't, but I'm glad you do, Paul King. That's what I meant. I think this movie, I will care about the emotional core. I don't care about this.
Gotcha. Okay.
King continues, I love the idea of telling a story where Willy Wonka wasn't just this magical, admirable, extraordinary, inventive character, but where he was actually the emotional heart of the movie. Which, yes, I get down with. I mean, we love to put our Willy Wonka through the depths of hell as he listens to Celine Dion. So, indeed. I understand. The filmmaker worked with the Roald Dahl estate and dove into the late author's archives where he found more inspiration for young Wonka. Oh. Paul King, if you'd like to come on the podcast and tell us what you know. we'd love to hear.
Come on
It felt like an area that Roald Dahl was always exploring. It felt like he felt there was a life to Willy Wonka beyond Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the Great Glass Elevator, which means he's read The Glass Elevator, which of course he would have. I mean, he's writing the script, so I would assume you would read The Glass Elevator. But getting that confirmation unsettled me because I don't really believe that book's real sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me feel better because we read it and we've always been like, we probably have had to know way more shit about this than a lot of people. So it makes me feel better that he has had to read it. And
I mean, do I think he's played the Pop Tropica game? No, but that's okay.
No.
I don't expect him to.
That's fine. That's fine.
And then he said of Timothée Chalamet in this interview, he's such a brilliant actor at expressing really deep emotions within the context of a family movie. He's just extraordinary as well as singing and dancing. He's got the voice of an angel and the toes of a... I don't know what toes. I can't wait for people to see it. I think it's going to blow people away.
The voice of an angel and the toes of a devil. That's what he should have said.
Yeah, that would be good.
I don't know.
He's got the voice of an angel and the toes of an angel would be awful. Also,
you ever think about angel toes? We have angel hair, pasta, or is it cake?
Isn't there angel cake something? Cake. Angel cake is a thing.
And angel hair pasta is a thing. Cool. I'm covered. Yeah. We're good. There were just so many angel things he could have done, but love it. Okay, cool.
We're going to do something a little different, and I'm going to pan the next article over to Elaine so she has something to read.
Okay. So this is from Rolling Stone, titled, Wonka Director Can't Wait for You to See Hugh Grant's Sassy Oompa Loompa. Oh, okay, here we go.
This is an article made for us.
Paul King goes, I've always had music and singing and things. Is Paul King British?
Yeah, he is, but I feel weird doing a British accent for real people.
What?
Do you know what I mean? Like when it's not Hugh Grant, because my British accent, like I can't. Well, these aren't a joke. Like these aren't jokey things. Do you know what I mean? So I feel weird doing it. I mean, you can do a British accent if you want, but if I'm reading like a serious interview, sometimes I feel odd being like, I've always had music and singing and things I've done, because he doesn't talk like that. You know? Like,
no, obviously not.
I've always had music and singing and things I've done, but to actually do a proper musical sequence, like I mean, I could do it, but it just feels weird. But you can do what you'd like.
I've always had music and singing and things I've done. But to actually do proper musical sequences was a really fun challenge. And because the film is set in the late 40s, bitch!
Exactly.
It felt like a really fun hat off to the golden age of MGM musicals. Chalamet, who King says was his only choice for the role of Willy Wonka. Really? King did double check to make sure the actor could sing and dance. Quote, it was a straight offer because he's great and he was the only person in my mind who could do it, King says. But because he's Timothée Chalamet and his life is so absurd, his High School Musical performances are on YouTube and have hundreds of thousands of views. So I knew from standing for Timothée Chalamet that he could sing and dance really well. I have to pause. How long has Paul King been standing for Timothée Chalamet?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Like, the fact that he saw that and then just kept that in the back of his mind. He saw little Timmy Tim and went, I might need to use him someday.
The thing that's made me lose my mind about this is we watched these videos in episode 6, and it was that one video of him and Sweet Charity where we were like, oh, he'll be fine. I'm sorry we ever said anything bad about you. But also we were like, imagine if the director was like, this is what I need in a Wonka, and that's what fucking happened. Are you kidding me?
Oh my god.
Did he watch the little Timmy Tim,
Miss Lawton. Just imagine Paul King with a little notepad going, oh, Miss Lawton, interesting. Okay, interesting beats. Okay, this kid's got something. I think that kid's got a little flair to him, doesn't he? God, that's amazing. So I knew he could sing and dance really well, and I knew that was in his arsenal, but I didn't know how good he was. When I spoke to him, he was quite keen. He'd done tap dancing in high school, and he was like, I'd quite like to show people I can do that. Did Timothée Chalamet say I'd quite like to show people I can do that? That's very cute. As seen in the trailer, the film brings Willy Wonka to a vague European city where he decides to pursue candy making. I thought, oh, that could be a fun place for Willy Wonka to turn up and be chaotic and messy and brightly colored and modern and turbocharge a new era.
He's not a finance bro. Also, I just noticed Paul King links about 8 adjectives per sentence. He can't use a single adjective. He needs to use 5+. I guess 3+. Chaotic
Oh my
and
gosh.
messy and brightly colored and modern and turbocharge a new era.
Turbocharge a new era.
He's not working for
Wow.
General Electric. This isn't the Carousel of Progress, and he's bringing in the new fridge. Like,
While he won't give it away just yet, the film also reveals where and how Wonka discovered his deep love of chocolate. There's a macabre quality to Dahl that I love in the way he writes stories, King says. He touches places I couldn't possibly go because my mind is more sugar-coated, and I'm more
that to
there for
Bunny
the
in the Bowl.
candy. Oh my god. Yeah, I was like, what the
tell
fuck?
that to the movie where you wrote about a guy fucking a dog, but you know what, fair enough.
Yeah, sure, whatever. We grow as people, that's fine. But certainly, I tried to have darker characters that you would find in a Paddington movie, for example. It's a crueler world, and it's a meaner world that Willy Wonka finds himself in because that's the sort of city that Charlie grows up in. Unlike the Paddington world, not everyone is nice in a Roald Dahl world. I definitely got to play with those grotesque ideas, but I hope not to damage a generation of children!
But that is probably the most valuable piece of information
Yes.
we've had in a year. That
Yeah.
single quote, I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have like a good range of nasty, but it's still cute and fun. After working with Hugh Grant on Paddington 2, King knew he wanted the actor as one of Wonka's Oompa Loompa pals. As one of Wonka's Oompa Loompa pals?
Yeah, that was something.
more
Maybe there's,
Oompa Loompa
yeah,
pals?
I don't know.
He's the funniest person I know, King says. It was a very happy moment when you go, oh, I think your voice can sit with this judgmental, sarcastic, mean-spirited character. The gleeful, mischievous delight the Oompa Loompas take in the demise of those kids is so funny. When you read the poems, they are so cruel and kind of acerbic. Trying to write down character traits and find their voice outside the songs, I realized that's what Hugh sounds like. Hugh is an Oompa Loompa.
Paul King went up to Hugh Grant and he was like, hey Hugh, I think you really sound like somebody who would sing a song after a kid was fucking murdered. And Hugh was like, that is me, yes, it's me, Hugh Grant. And that's a
Paul
great
goes-
descriptor of me, Hugh Grant.
He's like, you are an Oompa Loompa. He's like, of course, I'm Hugh Grant. What else would I be? There's more delight to come, too. He wears a series of ridiculous outfits in the film, King teases. I think it works so brilliantly. There's always things where, when you're making anything, where you go, okay, I think that's good. I think that's good. That's just right. If no one likes that, I don't care. I have 100% confidence in Hugh with green hair.
That is the most
sounds like someone was-
enlightening interview.
That was amazing. It sounds like people were like, the orange and the green is so classic. Why do you change it? And Paul King was like, no, it's fucking Hugh Grant wearing green hair. I have it drawn out and framed on my nightstand.
I look at it
And
every
that's
night
all it's
before I
gonna
go
be.
to sleep, and I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
Yes.
I have a single line from this article from Empire that I wanted you to read.
Okay. Now that the Hugh Grant shaped cat is out of the bag. Quote, I'm so glad we managed to keep it vaguely secret, says King.
This is why we've been blacklisted.
That's why we've been blacklisted. That is why that is fucking why no one has caught on to Hugo Loompa.
That's why TikTok keeps pushing that video down. There's a
Episode
ban
2.
on it.
Episode 2
I think it was episode
of this
6.
podcast. Whatever. It was within
the first 2 months.
that is hilarious. Wow.
I was like,
the Hugh Grant shaped cat is out of the bag. Just come up with a different metaphor. Come up with a different analogy. Yeah. Anything else. God, I'm like sweating. Oh my God.
Okay, the only other thing, there was an interview he did with People magazine, and he talked again about how he wants to celebrate old-time movie musicals, which I'm excited about. I love that shit.
Yeah, same.
The film tells the story of Willy Wonka, who comes to an uptight European center of chocolate with all these fancy chocolate shops that sell candy at sharply inflated prices. Here's another
Sounds right.
three-adjective banger. He brings this riot of color and energy and the future and a lot more joyous sense of it. What?
Okay.
He brings this
What?
riot of color and energy and the future and a lot more joyous sense of it.
These things don't, I mean, I get that they connect, but these words don't, they need to be their own individual. Yeah. Oh, Paul, you silly Paul.
He said they try to evoke that through dance sequences. There's a couple of really big numbers and an amazing sort of zero-gravity set pieces. They also had an on-set chocolate maker who every Monday would have him taste test things.
The dedication. Because it could have just been like,
Yeah.
basic.
King also said, I hope it's a really great fun outing for the family. It should just be a great Christmas movie. That's what we're really trying to do, and I really hope people embrace it as that. A little targeted, but that's okay. I agree. I mean, I honestly, at the end of the day, we don't really take this that seriously, and if it's a fun movie, I don't care. I feel like we're godless when it comes to Wonka canon, that, like, as long as it's a fun movie, we don't give a shit at this point.
I mean, it's been screaming, like, release it during the holiday season vibes, like, since we first saw, like, snow and shit. And when they pushed it back, I mean, obviously,
we
if
were
it's
like,
in December,
this makes
it's gonna be a
more
holiday.
sense.
But, like, it's always kind of had the vibe of, like, this is something they want it to be related to a holiday so that when the holiday comes around, you have the nostalgia, so you want to watch that movie again and again.
Now that we've gotten through all that, it's time to get to the big fucking part of the show. We gotta break this trailer down. We've both taken notes pretty chronologically through it. I'm gonna pull it up in another tab just so I can have an image reference if I need to, you know?
Same, yep. I got the trailer ready to go at 0.5 speed.
I was going frame by frame, comma and period. You can use it to go frame by frame. Very helpful. I had to look up how to do it for this.
I didn't know that. I just know about K and J. Fuck yes. Okay, the more you know.
The first shot of this we know. Wonka is on a big boat, okay? This boat, I looked at it and I compared it to photos of the Lydia Eva, which we know is also in this movie. Not the same boat, unless they're doing some trickery on it. Different, distinct boat, which I think makes sense. It's like, Lydia Eva is more for, like, small travel, and this is, like, a huge fucking boat, so.
And it makes sense, too, because, I mean, the first quote we have is him going, I've spent the past 7 years traveling the world, perfecting my craft. And Wonka is not full of money. As we've gathered from that first little song that came out, he has 12 silver sovereigns in his pocket. So, in my head, I'm thinking...
And from this, we can get a rough exchange rate for what that equals from this trailer.
Oh, fuck yes.
I did some calculations. I can tell y'all exactly how many balloons he can afford.
Oh, bitch!
How many times can he get fined for dreaming?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, I love you. Anyway, so my thought was, okay, he's either I think he probably had a list of where he wanted to go, and it doesn't seem like he's a stowaway, but I feel like the ship was probably off doing something else, and he was like, hey, can I join and just sleep in the shitty cargo area or something? I see that. Massive boat scene. He does the thing where he's like on the mast and just staring very poetically at the horizon. Big climb. I guess hover chalk might have gotten him up there, but man, he's so spry.
He's been traveling for 7 years, which means he's been traveling since he was around 20. But I feel like he's probably supposed to be a year or two younger. Just because Timothée Chalamet looks a little younger. That's not, I would assume this Wonka's, like, 25. 27 feels a little too old. 25 feels
That's what
right.
I was thinking, too. 25-ish, yeah.
And because that means he's been traveling since he's 18, which would make more sense anyway.
Yeah.
Or it turns out it's real tragic and he's been traveling since he was 15. Oh, what happened to the boy, you know?
Because, like, my theory is that
25
is
old enough to lord your age over a younger child.
Yes.
but still young enough to be a mess. You know, 27 you can still be a mess. But in a movie's mind...
Yeah, movie's mind, if you're... Yeah, for sure.
Movie's mind, you die after you're 28.
Yeah.
In the mind of Hollywood, you pass
That's
over
fair.
into hell at 27. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And we'll talk about the mom later because she shows up at the very end of the movie. But my theory, just from the get-go, is that Willie's mom passes.
And we're breaking this.
Oh,
down
the trailer!
like
The fucking trailer! Oh my god! It's like I was like, God, can this just be the movie and then I can be free? No, the trailer. At the end of the trailer, Sally Hawkins, who's playing Wonka's mom, it's gonna be weird because he's Willie. He's Willie throughout this entire movie, and the whole like tagline of this movie is how Willie became Wonka. Which personally, I absolutely hate that tagline. It's the same. Which might suggest his last name isn't Wonka.
Yeah, is that a stage name?
Whoa. Wait. Whoa. Oh, I just got chills. So I think his mom passes away, and that's maybe what kickstarts his grand adventure to see the world, to perfect his craft, and do his little eat, pray, love moment.
Yeah. We get a shot of him going through the jungle. He has a messenger bag. I just wanted to note that. He carries this throughout the film. It's like a messenger duffel bag, but it's like It's like a minimalist one. It's like linen,
oh my gosh, yes.
You know?
It's
He also, big moment, everybody, he has sand-colored trousers. Jeans impact. I'm actually working on a TikTok breaking down all the things in Jean Slider to see how directly they correlate to Timmy Wonka's costume now. But the sand-colored trousers, we have Jean to thank.
Jean's legacy lives on.
Jean's
Fashion
legacy.
icon.
Yeah, and he gets cocoa beans from a tree. And in this shot, do you have the trailer up right now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so in the shot of the cocoa bean, there seems to be a structure next to the tree. Do you see that on the right?
Oh, yeah.
That looks like a roof with like, it looks like it's disguised a little bit.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, I was gonna say, it kind of just looks like it's part of the mountain face, but I could totally see that being like a cave or something. Which would make sense, too, as an inciting incident, because he goes up there and it looks like he's like never seen a cocoa bean before.
Yeah.
So when I saw these giant cocoa beans, which I don't know how big cocoa beans are normally. I think they are kind of bigger, but I didn't know if these were also like extra, you know, just for this kind of movie. I could see them being like, it's the biggest cocoa bean ever, but Wonka looks...
They're roughly 0.5 to 1.5 inches long.
Okay, so these are fucking
they're
footballs.
A lot bigger. Yeah.
They're fucking footballs on a tree that looks... It kind of looks like they just glued them on there.
The cocoa bean pods are about the size of a guy's head. So...
Okay, so that's actually
so
fair
it's
then.
not that bad. Okay.
But he rips it off and he looks so excited, and like my thought here is like, this is clearly Loompa Land or whatever they may call it in this movie. And I see them like a stranger comes onto their land and takes one of their cocoa beans. I feel like that will not go well. So I feel like we're gonna have Willie's gonna have a lot of enemies. That's kind of a trend I have throughout this. He's gonna have like 5 different enemies, and so I think he is now
like
enemy number one for the
he's
Oompa
like
Loompas.
Paddington's opposite, where everyone fucking hates him.
Yes, yeah, wait, he really is.
Everyone is just out to get this bitch. They like him. Also, the way these cocoa beans look, they look like they're from a mobile game and got composited over top. And the thing is, I want everyone to remember, like, some people I saw were saying Hugo Loompa doesn't look great, which I can agree with, but also from my understanding is normally the graphics used in trailers may not be the final graphics as a whole. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's fair.
Because
That's
like in
true.
one of the interviews, Paul King kind of referred to the fact that they're still working on compositing some of Hugo Loompa, but it does look good, he thinks. So
Gotcha.
Does that make any sense? So like,
yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah,
I'm
and they
gonna
probably
save
want to
any
hear
CGI massive criticisms until the movie is out. You know?
I think that's fair too. I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
Okay, so that's our notes on the chocolate thing. Sorry, can you go forward when he takes the thing off? Okay, this is a note I wanted to make just in general, and I realized what it is. The reason why Timothée Chalamet in this is so fun, he's not trying to be hot at all.
No,
he is a fucking goofy... I spun on 5 seconds when he grabs this cocoa bean off the tree. He looks like Bugs fucking Bunny, and I love him for it.
Yep.
Are you looking at it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His little teeth.
He has abandoned, because I'm used to only seeing movies Timothée Chalamet. He normally gets cast as a person who's supposed to be kind of hot. Like, that's part of the character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they understand he's a heartthrob. In this, he was beholden to no such notion, and man, he fucking ran with it, and I am so happy.
His facial expressions throughout this trailer are
bold.
So they're
in a good
bold,
way.
Like, in a good way.
Anything I say about Timothée Chalamet in this, I literally have no notes. Like, genuinely, I don't have any notes.
do.
I'm very happy about it. Oh, you do? Oh, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you my one right now. I think the face acting is great. I don't know if the voice matches the level of intensity. And I think my note there is that this is a trailer and a lot of context. I think that, like, you know, again, it's like, what level of intensity was it? Like, you can't put a level 5 moment right next to, like, I don't know, these guys floating in the fucking air. Like, it's hard to, like I feel like maybe in the context it'll be fine, but that was just something I'm kind of noting where I'm like, the body and everything is amazing and chaotic and deranged, and I love it, but I don't feel like
I just pictured you describing that not being about acting and just the descriptor of someone's body of being, it's incredible, it's crazy, it's deranged, it's unhinged.
The kind of guy I'm looking for.
Girl, your body is crazy, unhinged,
and deranged, bitch.
Oh my god. Okay,
I do
we need to
fucking
keep
love
moving
that.
on. We're on point number 2. Okay.
Anyway, that was my overall thing there.
We get to the mall area, which is called the Gallery Gourmet, which he says later. He describes himself as a magician, inventor, and chocolate maker. His cane has a blue banner with a W hanging from it, which I'm like, blue? We don't see blue often. His neck scarf in the seam seems to have stars on it.
I made a whole note on that too, because I was like, Sally Hawkins, his mom, might be British. He has an American accent. You zoom in on that ascot, it's blue, red, white with blue stars. And I'm like, American?
I think Sally Hawkins' mom is British. It is American. Like, I think Sally Hawkins is
then
American.
we do have a full American.
Her accent does sound American.
I would love if that ascot was supposed to be.
From his mom. Because she was wearing the yellow scarf that looked kind of similar. He clearly dresses exactly like his mom. Like, they look identical.
Yes.
It's a great casting. We get Scratch That, Reverse It, which I have 2 theories on, and I posted a TikTok about this. I've been doing these, like, insane murder board TikToks explaining everything from this, but in the movie and the novel, it's normally Strike That, Reverse It. There's a whole Strike That, Reverse It song, but Wonka goes for Scratch That, Reverse It. So this is one of 2 things. It's either 1, they're trying to set themselves apart from previous canon, or 2, he needs 20 more years to come up with Strike That. He needs 20 years.
As he hardens over time, because what hurts more, a scratch or a strike? A scratch is more, you're right. As he hardens, so does his language. Oh my goodness.
I wrote here, he fondles a chocolate bar covered in paper. And this is a moment for me because I made a prediction that chocolate bars would be wrapped in foil. And here's the thing, you would think I would be disappointed that it was covered in paper, but I actually feel vindicated because your response to that was, well, of course they're going to be fucking wrapped in foil. What else would they be wrapped in? And the answer is paper, and it was in this fucking trailer.
Wait, I thought I said, why would they have foil? I think I was anti-foil and you were pro-foil.
You were I made that prediction. You were like, love it. Then when we did the prediction review, you were like, of course they'd be wrapped in fucking foil. What else would they be wrapped in, you idiot? That's not a prediction. That's a given. And I was like, I don't know. I kind of agree with you. You convinced me. But now look, it's not a given. That's just in paper. So,
I'm sorry, did I just try to gaslight you about foil chocolate?
Yeah, this is like the 3rd time. Because that episode, you were also like, I hated it when you said it. And then I went back to the original episode and you were like,
to be fair,
I
did still hate it.
I love it word for
It was just
word.
a hilarious thing to me. It was just like, water will be poured in a glass, I think was my vibe of just like, that's so funny to me. So it's fair. It's fair. Yes, I am very happy that it is wrapped in a paper and that gets to get checked off.
If there is a chocolate bar wrapped in foil, it means more now.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
There's also
because that could be the difference between him and the fancy chocolate people. He only has paper. They have foil. Love it. I'm sorry. Yeah. Literally a character foil.
Oh my god! There's also a chocolate fountain in here.
No. Yes, it gives me Cheesecake Factory meets
this
fancy
is Willy
European
Wonka
mall
versus
vibes.
minimalism.
Yeah,
the movie.
Oh my gosh.
We see Olivia Colman. She seems to be in like either a mail office or a printing place. And I remember there was a previous interview that said she was like a hostel owner. And Olivia Colman called herself a meanie. So she's not a nice character. I mean, she has a mean shot later on, so for like angrily opening something, but
yeah, it made me wonder because we had talked about her being the boarding house person. I wonder if it's kind of like not an official thing where she's just like, sure, I have an extra room, you go in there, because again, Willie's so fucking broke, he probably can't afford an actual apartment. So that was the only close thing I could think of, but yeah, interesting.
You know what? Timothée Chalamet delivers some of these lines like he's lip-syncing to his own lines on a RuPaul's Drag Race stage.
Oh my god.
That's the face level.
Yes, that is how intense he is going.
When he says, I'm making chocolate, it's so intense.
It's unsettling.
His jaw unhinges. This is where the air around him.
As you said, the Jim Carrey juice comes in.
Yeah.
The Jim Carrey juice comes in.
So he has this machine to make chocolate with a bunch of vials. I fucking love this. It's cool. And I realize it's so his suitcase that he's carrying all the time.
Oh,
fuck folds out. You can see the handle on top. There's different buttons on it with like a heart and spirals and shit. And I went frame by frame and it looks like he picks a lightning, which matches with the storm cloudish candy.
I screenshot and zoomed in on that too. So, yep.
I found a big find in the vials, okay? This appears to be a fish label. I just pasted the word fish. Okay.
Nice. Yes. Okay. Yes.
It's like
I thought it was a beta
goldfish.
fish for a moment.
Yeah,
it's a goldfish.
No, it's a beta fish. You're right. It is a beta.
Oh, okay.
But
I was like, interesting.
if a fish comes out and slaps someone in the face because of this, big win. Because
I just shook my whole monitor. Holy
yeah,
fuck!
there's a chance of a fish.
Holy
There's a
shit.
chance of a fish. You know, like now.
Holy shit.
But now this is
Oh
the
my
bigger
God.
find. What do you see on this, Elaine? This is like an eye test for children. Elaine, what does this look like to you?
A giraffe.
A giraffe.
A giraffe.
There's a giraffe on a vial.
He has candy that oh my God.
Which makes it clear that the giraffe is Willie's doing.
And most likely the flamingos as well.
Yes.
Oh my God. So that's really when we officially enter more of the magic realm as opposed to the science inventor realm.
Yeah, he's gonna be pretty high up on the list.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest find. I literally wrote, "Oh, big find!" I was like so excited. I felt like an archaeologist. I was like, "Is that a giraffe I see?" I also love how it looks like he poached these labels from different things. I think that's very fun.
Oh, yeah.
There's a town scene where he's like, I called it town scene / singing in the rain, where he jumps off the truck and like does a little spin around the thing. I translated some of the signs in the background to see.
Oh, thank God, because I was thinking about it. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Okay,
thank
so
God
the
for
one
you.
place says discs and sound carriers, and the other place says audio devices. They're just two German shops, and they're advertising like radios and stereos and stuff. It seems to be a mix of languages, because like the seafood truck is in French, which I did translate. It's a seafood truck. We'll talk about that. So then we get Jim Carter says, "Many have come here to sell chocolate. They've all been crushed by the chocolate cartel." And then as he says this, it pans through, like, we see Rakita Carr, and then Jim Carter, and then some other people, which we'll go into later. And he says, "You can't get us up without selling chocolate, and you can't sell chocolate without a shop." So it
So
seems
good.
to
I
be...
love the way he talks. I have a lot of theories about them. We can hold if it comes back
Yeah,
later.
we'll be talking about them.
Cool. Okay.
Because they do come back later, and we see the full squad.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So then we get the chocolate cartel, and this was big. So Slugworth is in the window with who I believe is Freya Parker, who is playing, if we remember, Miss Bonbon.
Oh, fuck.
So Miss Bonbon is like his sidekick.
She's going to be the one that has a change of heart. Oh,
Exactly.
my God.
So like I predicted that Miss Bonbon would be good, but I didn't mark it as false because I think she's going to have a change of heart. And then Prodnose is Matt Lucas. He's wearing a yellow suit, and Fickelgruber is also there. Fickelgruber. And I want to note, Prodnose's text in his window is Italian, whereas Fickelgruber's is German. I'm assuming Slugworth is French. If he's not, if there's nobody with a French accent in this movie, I'm going to be pissed. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be pissed. But he sounded French during the 1 or 2 lines we got from him. So I'm hoping.
Wild.
I mean, Fickelgruber is everything I wanted him to be. And I'm trying to get used to
Right.
referring to him in this movie as Fickelgruber.
I will now insert the new headcanon very quickly. I know everyone is concerned about Fickelgrubber versus Fickelgruber. How will the masses understand when we say Fickelgrubber, we're referring to a frog, but Fickelgruber is over here being a tycoon of chocolate? And I have decided that Fickelgrubber, when needing to do intense business, transforms, has the power to transform into his human. Think Jekyll Hyde situation.
Okay.
Into Fickelgruber, who's a little bit darker. But to be clear, it's not a human turning into a frog. It
It's
is
a
a
frog
frog
turning into a
Fickelgrubber turning into a human. Fickelgrubber is a fun-loving little chocolate spy. Fickelgruber is an intense business human. So
With a
just to
big
clear the air.
mustache.
So now
Actually,
we can
a
have
very small mustache. Let me clarify.
very
The
small
smallest
mustache.
But
I am
its
so-
presence is so strong.
I know we've said it so many times, but I'm just so happy he's wearing green. It
I know,
really fits the
it-
narrative. Like, it's
Thank fucking God.
so good. Thank God. Yeah.
We have a dream sequence of Wonka. He has a dream sequence of a shop opening with a big number and a bunch of kick lines and Wonka umbrellas and all that. And then a policeman taps on his shoulder and goes, "No daydreaming," as he's looking at a sign that says, "No daydreaming." Which is like, is this a Footloose situation with dreams and fun? It kind of seems like it. He's living in the fucking Giver universe.
Right? It's definitely like daydreamers versus like people so focused on reality. Is
Yeah.
also the kind of the tension I got throughout this too.
Willy Wonka the homesteader versus Slugworth the finance bro.
Yes.
But daydreaming has a 3 sovereign fine, and Willy Wonka only has
That's a
12 silver sovereigns in his pocket. So he can
That
only
was a
afford to
4th.
daydream
Stop.
4 times.
God, you better make them good. You better make them good, make them count.
We get a shot of him riding into town on the truck in this scene that kind of looks like he's running up to the Frozen Kingdom. Don't know why that's what it reminded me of, but it did.
No, that's so true.
Of Willy Wonka's. But I assume this little clip right here and the part where he jumps off the truck around like the pole are part of his opening, like, introduction number to the city. And then we can also see in a later shot on this truck, it says Great Choice Seafood Merchant, which makes sense because there's a shrimp logo.
Love it.
I mean, it's in French. I had to translate it. Okay, Rowan Atkinson, during one scene, appears to pull a lever in the shape of a cross. Is he putting people on the other side of the confession booth through a trap door? Or do I not understand how confession booths work?
Holy fuck, what if it's like Graham Norton's talk show where there's a segment, for anyone who doesn't know, where he'll bring audience members to tell a funny story or an interesting story, and they're in a different room in a red chair, and if he doesn't find it interesting, he pulls a lever and the chair falls back.
That's what I was
love if people are doing confessions. He's like, oh, boring.
Not bad enough.
Get out of here. That's actually really fucking funny. I love that. Yeah, his character is the one I cannot figure out. I don't really have a full theory on him.
Role? Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I can think is, like, we have the cartel. If you have a cartel, most likely you're paying off the police. And if you're with the police, the church also can have probably a lot of money. And that's money is the only thing I can see, but I have no idea.
Corrupt preacher trope. You know, maybe
I love it too.
He pulls that. Wonka. Imagine if Wonka goes to confess his sins. Do you think? Imagine Wonka's a religious man.
I've daydreamed 3 times.
5 lashings. I don't even know why that would be a thing.
5 lashings.
I'm not Catholic. I don't know.
Turns out your daydreams are about to become. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop whatever I was about to say. I'm not Catholic, so I don't know.
My only experience, like the thing I learned the most about Catholicism was from midnight mass. That's my biggest experience.
Oh my god, you're such a gem.
There's also a huge procession of nuns, and I think Keegan-Michael Key is walking through it. I'm not totally sure, but it looks like his hat.
I thought that was him too.
Okay. Then I just have Hover Chalk, because we need to discuss Hover Chalk.
We really need to discuss Hover Chalk. All the cartel wears the same pin, which I tried to zoom in on to see what is on it, but I couldn't figure it out. But they all have the same gold pin on their lapel. It's kind of shaped like, I don't know, like a bell. It definitely looks like a secret society pin. It's not a circle. It's got shape.
So Wonka is like, he's like, why don't you try that? He's like, no one will want candy that makes you fly. And Wonka's like, let's go see, bitch. And gives it to people. Fly. But there's a single shot as it's going in the air where his like eyes are a little too in focus. And everything else is too out of focus, where he scares me.
Yes,
which is good.
These
what
look
you
need
like Baby Bells. These look like Baby Bell Dawn.
His
Dish
eyes. Oh, I was like, his eyes look like Baby Bells. I want a guy who has eyes like Baby Bells and a deranged body.
No, the Hover Chalks, they're like yellow and green Baby Bells.
I don't imagine they taste good, but you know.
No. I'm very excited. I do want to say I'm very excited for his relationship with
Noodle.
Yeah, Noodle. I think it's going to be really cute.
It's going to be so cute. I'm definitely getting assistant, like, come join me on this wild ride kind of vibe with her, which more theories later on in this trailer, but
it's a good bit of found family, which I love. Okay, can you go to 1 minute and 22 seconds? I just want you to react with what you see. It took me a second to decode this. You may have to skip through a little bit to find the specific shot because it's all of 3 seconds.
Okay, we're in the trolley.
Yeah. Yeah.
The trolley gang?
The trolley gang?
Harvey girls?
It could be a train.
Clang, clang, clang comes the trolley gang.
Oh, yeah, I guess there isn't a second car. I thought I was seeing a second car. But there is a train also later, so we're fine.
Oh,
there's
fantastic.
2 trains.
And I love a good trolley. We don't talk about trolleys enough, but I love that. Anyone who doesn't know our Harvey Girls moment is like, just like, what the fuck was that?
But at 1:28, when they're like going around in the chocolate shop, you can see Noodle sitting on top of a tiny train.
So fucking good.
And then we see a bunch of flamingos are eating shrimp out of the seafood truck. And I was wondering, are these animals his big mistake moment? Is this his Tinkerbell gets shunned from the village?
I was thinking that too. This is his moment of, I am so creative that I'm not going to keep myself in check. And then it either spills or gets in the wrong hands. Maybe Noodle plays around with his little suitcase machine and accidentally makes all these flamingos. And then this is what So not only is he going to piss off the chocolate cartel because he's trying to sell chocolate, now he's pissed off the police. So now we have two different people, two different groups pissed off at him.
So we're at the chocolate shop. Noodle gets a cute outfit. They're drinking out of candy teacups, which I noticed. I was like, ooh, big G. Yeah. They got golden bunnies and cherries. It's kind of like a baby chocolate room.
Yeah.
And they're on an indoor train. Now, the biggest, probably the most exciting shot of the trailer is when the chocolate cartel are sitting together in a room and he goes, he's good. He's too good. But where are they sitting? They're sitting at a bar, bitch.
They're sitting at a bar, and the bartender is about to hand him a giant...
Yeah.
Yes, it is an ice cream bar, about to hand him this giant little fudge sundae with a fancy can of whipped cream is what it looks like next to it.
I love that. I love whatever's going on there.
The costumes have been fantastic so far. I've loved them so much.
There's a car that opens and a bunch of chocolate pours out, and then we get the line from Keegan-Michael Key, I think I've gained 200 pounds over the last 2 weeks, which implies this movie's in like a 2-week time span, which is good to know for us, you know. So this is the part that I probably had the most notes on, which seems to be the part where Timothée Chalamet gets covered in chocolate, as Paul King has said many times he made him do. They basically get trapped underground with chocolate spewing onto them in, like, almost an aqueduct. It basically, if anyone has seen Interview with the Vampire, it looks like the death chamber they get put in.
Oh my god.
That's because there's, like, the grate with the light coming down, and that's all I've been able to think of. I'm like, this is that scene from Interview with the Vampire. I will say Slugworth seems to be the leader of the chocolate cartel, which makes sense. He's in the middle. He's the most prominent. Most people know Slugworth. They don't know Fickelgruber and Prodnose. Yeah. Understandably, I get it. I mean, you should, but I get it.
Yeah, fair.
And, like, the chocolate spewing out, the pipe it spews out of has the Slugworth, like, logo on the sides.
Yes.
So it's his business, which also he's like, things should be simple, and then has this fucking, like, chocolate death chamber sewer.
Which I love that he has that at the ready. And maybe this is where Wonka learns, I can make traps in my shop. Noting that for later.
He was like, that was horrible what you put me through. I'm gonna do it to somebody else.
Yeah. That's how I deal with my trauma.
Then we get a shot of Tom Davis. Every outfit this man wears, I think it's a different character, because he's got fucking lederhosen on. He pulls on a lever. Olivia Colman is brought to him. He catches her, and they look happy. I think it's part of their song together, because she said they have a song together, so that's would probably be part of that. So, we get the squad of, like, compatriots. Jim Carter, Rakita Carr, Natasha Rothwell, and the fourth person who I was like, who the fuck is that? I looked through the cast list. I think it's Rich Fulcher.
Okay.
So there you go. My guess is they're either a squad of beaten down chocolate makers or other area business owners, but they seem to be like beaten down chocolatiers.
Yeah, I had a moment where my theory was that I definitely agree, beaten down chocolate owners. I thought they also have to now work in the factory for these other chocolate cartel people who ruined their stuff, because it looks like when at the beginning of the closer to the beginning of the trailer, when we first Jim Carson's doing his whole thing, it looks like they are definitely in like a factory element, but it I don't know, that was my first opinion. It was like, what would be so annoying is like, not only are you taken out of business, but now you have to work for the people that purposely put you out, and that would then give them their whole, there's no point in fighting them, like we've given up, blah blah blah, like that mentality. And then you have Wonka come in and be like, well, that's stupid, come join me. Yeah, which they do.
And then we have the flamingos follow them as they fly into the air with balloons.
Fantastic.
And this is something interesting. The balloons are not magic, right? Because he just picks up these random fucking balloons. It's not like he pre-made these balloons. He picks them up from this carnival that we had seen videos of them filming in. The balloons are not magic, so Wonka has some type of ability to make them go further. Is this hover truck plus balloons equals more floating? Or can he just, like, fucking... Is he not bound by any laws?
This is what I thought would be interesting, is that if he also has daydreams and magic, it's going to be hard to figure out throughout this movie probably what is daydream, what is magic. Because I could also see, it looks like Noodle, I mean, and they even say it later in the trailer that she's had a hard life. And it's kind of like, what do you do when you're, like, sad? You, like, dream of these, like, better things. And it sounds like Wonka's doing the same thing. And he's probably...
And he's like, I know things can get better. And they pinky promise. And he's like, that's the most solemn vow there is.
And I was like, oh, I can't wait for you to probably break that at some point.
Like a decrepit goofy.
Well, this is funny, too, because now it's like, we have a new Wonka voice we have to...
Goofy.
A decrepit... There's 3 things I want in a man. Baby Bell eyes.
When I think of Timothée Chalamet, I think of him as unhinged and feral and decrepit and goofy. But in this scene, he goes past a sign. The balloon cart says 1 sovereign
insane.
for balloons.
Sorry.
Yeah, he says 1 sovereign for balloons. And I'm like, if it's 1 sovereign for a single balloon, he can only afford 12 balloons, the poor boy.
So he's just committed a huge
Yeah, no, he's
like,
destitute. He is in debt.
Because, like, I mean, did you say you counted these balloons? Like,
no, this is presumably later in the film, so I assume he has more money anyway. But, you know.
Still, he definitely did. I mean, he definitely didn't pay for these, so I'm just,
been
like, calculating, like, okay, that's at least,
for
like...
a bunch, because if it costs 3
thank God.
balloons to Dave Dream, then that's nothing. Do you know what I mean? So,
That's so
we
fair.
may be missing
But if it's, like...
something here. Or maybe this was
I was
never
like-
meant to be analyzed this hard.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Crazy. What do you mean? What do you
So,
mean?
we have Wonka's mom, and she goes, everything in this world started with a dream, so you hold on to yours. And then Wonka says, here we go, mama, in this, like, Bohemian Rhapsody-ass lighting.
Yes.
Which, I'll be honest, I got kind of fucking hyped when he said that. I was like, oh, fuck yeah! Like,
Yeah.
it
Well, because
felt cathartic.
he's wearing a different ascot, I would like to note. It is not his American flag weird, like, star thing. This looks a little crisper. He's in the dark, and there's a single light on him, like he's about to open a door. Maybe he's about to open the shop for the first time or something, or he's about to go fucking kick some ass, like, looking through a vent or something. But it looks like it's a tall vertical light, which suggests a door crack to me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Then we get over to the pre-makeover chocolate shop, and the Jim Carter squad is there with them. So they seem to be pals.
The squad. Yeah, because I think they're clearly gonna all work together to make this happen, which is fantastic. I love a makeover.
And there's also cotton candy clouds, but these seem to be held up by, like, twine and shit. Or rope.
Yes.
So maybe...
Is it twine or is it rope?
These are the questions we need answers to! And yeah, I think that's most of my notes, and then it's Hugo Loompa, which is the inevitability.
And then it's Hugo Loompa.
Which, Timmy Wonka seems to be much more set up, so this seems to be later in the film. This seems to be late at night. He's in his little jammies. I like
But, like, still wearing an ascot, it looks like?
Does he never take the scarf off? Is he like the fucking lady from the from that story?
Oh, like if the ribbon lady, she takes off the ribbon, her head falls off?
His head falls off?
That's how
his
it
tragic
ends.
Past. Yeah.
That's it. He really has lost his head.
I don't feel like I even have much to say about Hugo Loompa. I'm just like, yep.
I definitely think this jar was like a mousetrap setup. Like, I imagine we just hear scuffling and, like, the way that, oh god, what media is it where we don't see the Oompa Loompas? It's Scott Frank Oompa Loompa, where they're not really seen too often, but you just hear them giggling and doing stuff.
And they're doing the skateboard.
I imagine, like, he's been hearing that for a little bit, and then Willie sets up this trap. And I love the dancing. I like the way that Hugh Grant's approaching this. So,
it's funny because I feel like I've been kind of, like, quiet on Hugo Loompa, but, like, what is there to say? It's like, yep, that's Hugo Loompa. He looks like the Photoshop, so I thought he'd look like.
He's got a nice suit.
He does have little
got, like, your classic
shoes.
elf shoes kind of vibe with little pom poms.
I do like
end.
that he's wearing a tweed suit. I think it's fun.
So do I.
He's wearing
really
John
like
pose
that.
for the dancing man. Willie shut down his song so fast. So
he's
fast.
like, I don't think I want to hear that.
And it's like, bitch, what did he do? Did he kill your mom? Like, what?
Which that was the. Can you imagine that's actually the true origin?
I killed your mother, Willie.
I now steal everybody and make them work in my
your mother.
Stuck on these cocoa beans. So that was the moment where I was like, acting? I don't know how I felt about that line. But again, just out of...
Sorry. Suck on these cheese puffs, Wonka.
Oh, no. Oh. Suck on these tangerines.
Okay. Let's move on from Hugo Loompa.
We'll leave that
also,
from
is he wearing
Hugo
a
Loompa's
turtleneck?
balls.
Just a note. Anyway.
Yes.
I feel like I cut you off to deliver a joke about Hugo Loompa's balls.
It was worth it.
Okay, I'm glad.
It was fully worth it. No worries. Mostly I was saying, it was moments like that, the way that Willie reacted, that I was like, that acting seems a little...
that line I wasn't sure about, but I think it might have been cut faster in the trailer. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm wondering too. And I forgot what the other line was, but there was another one that had the same vibe as that, where I was like, That's where it's like, because you have to give your all on this, right? And sometimes you hit or you miss.
Yeah.
And there was some good hits, but there was like 2 misses for me. But again, like I said at the very beginning of this episode, I think that the way that this was cut, and you have to compare that intensity, like we haven't gotten to know this Willie, and I feel like maybe they probably gently bring you into his chaos as we progress and stuff. So like just having that cold out there, kind of made me like, yeah, I'm a little unsure about Timmy Wonka. I'm still mostly positive.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like 100% sold. That's where I currently am.
I guess I can see that. I'm pretty sold, but I think at this point I'm just happy to see something.
Exactly. Yeah. I think like one of my other concerns or something, and I'm not going to call it a concern because I overall feel very positive about this, but something I think I'll be...
I think I'm really excited about the Wonka and Noodle friendship. Like I'm genuinely really excited about that because like regardless of all of our Wonka shit... I'm more excited about Noodle than I am about Willie, and that's not a joke. I want to know about Noodle. So, like, she seems great. I just want to... She seems awesome.
I'm so fantastic. Yeah. But I think it'll be interesting, though, because, he's going full level on one side of kooky, but we have a lot of very... unique characters in this that are also going pretty hard, that are really nailing it so far. Based on this trailer, I feel like, yes, that is Prodnose, that is Fickle Gruber, like,
I feel good about
the
that
one
as well.
look that Fickle Gruber had, whatever. But, I'm like, okay, everybody. And I'm like, maybe on his own this would super land, but I'm interested in, like, how these will all mesh together.
There's a lot going on,
sense.
And Wonka, I think Timmy definitely has the hardest job because he has to be the emotional core and also fucking insane. And I think that's going to be
also
tricky.
be a different Wonka.
Yeah.
It's which is very hard. So I am definitely like giving my roses to him.
I do like that it almost seems like Calla Lane's Noodle is like the straight man to Wonka, where she's like,
yes,
all right, bud.
Really?
That's what I wanted from this.
Okay, cool.
But he's also like, I don't know, her weird uncle, almost. Like,
yes.
I mean, he's more of an older brother role, but he's but he's weird enough where, like, normally people that weird are distant relatives. You know what I mean?
No, I got you. He's the fun cousin, not the chaotic. Well, he is a chaotic cousin, but not the cousin that you're like, oh, that cousin. The one who's like off the rails.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I have a very, I guess I can save it for my prediction, but overall, I think this movie will have a happy ending. I saw that some people thought it would have to end sadly. I don't think it does, and I don't think they would do that.
I think some people want this to be darker than it's going to be, which is fair. I can understand the urge. I don't feel that urge, and I'm not going to, like, I want everyone on this podcast to know, like, if the movie comes out, it's very happy, we're not going to be mad about that. Like, honestly, remember, we're the people who made up a fake Wonka whose main defining characteristic is that he likes Celine Dion. We're not really interested in the macabre part of it. Like, really,
like, fair. I feel like we get our devious and mischievous.
I need him to do something that's a little self-centered and selfish. Like, I think that's
which he 100% will do.
Which he's going
he's gonna be, he's gonna be so stuck on his dreams and stuff that he's gonna, in the end, like, break his promise to Noodle or something. He's gonna let Noodle down because he's so focused on wanting to keep creating and creating, but he's not thinking about, like, the effects of what he's creating. He just wants to be better and better. Yeah. And I think that'll be his demise, but...
Yeah, man. I think it is going to have a happy ending. I think it might have a bittersweet ending, but that's my prediction. But not a sad one.
Yeah, I think it's going to end with this chocolate shop is so great, and they're like, what if you made your own factory? And then it's him off to go, like, build this factory. And it'll be kind of exciting. And that's kind of maybe where we'll
That's kind of what I think.
Like, the whole family moment thing. I don't know.
We have gotten so much awesome, like, fan mail and messages in the last, 3 days of being like, how are you guys doing? Are you guys okay? Somebody check on Wonka Watch. You know, like, it's been so nice. And we've read pretty much all of it. We can't feature all of it because it was so much, but I just grabbed some poignant thoughts I found in our email that I wanted to share with y'all. So Kai emailed in. They said, I think Felicia might have been right about Timmy Wonka carrying knives in the Wonka squad, which I was like, I made that as a joke, but yeah, this Wonka would carry knives and be a little mischievous guy.
So true.
And they also said I would like to add that he'd also carry ingredients to make chocolate bombs. Whether that means little treats or actual explosives or both, I do not know. And I just thought that was a nice thought. That ties it back into some stuff from our podcast, you know. Kate sent us an email where the full text was, hey, just saw the trailer. Why does he look like that? Why does he look like that? Why is this a real movie and not made up? Why does Hugo Loompa look like that?
That one made me laugh.
I just really enjoyed that. I was like, yeah, thank
So
you. Yeah.
good.
So also sent in some things that they think should happen for this to feel Wonka-esque, and I wanted to pull out this one specific point. They said Willie does something so selfish, so lacking in self-awareness that he drives a loved one away and forever ruins his ability to form interpersonal connections, aka we see the beginning of his isolationist tendencies, which I think that is a good point. Like, I think he does need to, I would like to see some of that isolationist streak, you know?
Yes. To know that that's like something he might react as. He might bounce back from it probably in this movie, but definitely knowing
honestly,
that is the thing that he
bounce
does.
back, but like,
yeah.
you know. And then lastly, our famed first email legend, Zach Barr, hit us again with a banger.
I saw that and I was like, of course you're here for us. I love you, Zach. Every major milestone, you've always been there. The first person to email us.
They said they pulled out a very specific thing from our episode where we named the Wonkas, okay? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They said for most of the episode you were in agreement that Timmy Wonka would be Willoughby Wonka, though at the last minute you changed your mind and decided his actual given name was Willie. I had accepted this reality until the trailer dropped. I hope you will agree with me that the face that Timmy makes at 047, it's the one you're thinking of. It's the one you're thinking. Yeah, it's the one under the light. Just after looking up at the lamp is pure Willoughby energy. That's a Willoughby Wonka right here. And honestly, after seeing this trailer, I agree. Like, this bitch is Willoughby.
Too. This is Willoughby.
Because I was like, he's not really a Willoughby. We don't know that yet. Now seeing this, yes, this is a Willoughby. Good lord, this is a Willoughby. He has the boundless confidence and optimism that the name Willoughby brings.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to bring that up because I was like, you're right, Zach. Thank you for keeping us in line.
It's another good truth. Yeah, thank you for
doing the audit we needed.
Yes.
Now we're about to do the big leagues.
Oh, man.
The predictions. And you don't know how this fell out, really, because we made a lot of them that we don't remember.
Clearly.
Because we often reference back to predictions and misattribute them. Like, I'll think I made ones that you did and shit like that. Like,
well, and then we'll change our minds, too, about, I don't know, certain chocolate-covered foil things that cover wrapped stuff. I don't know, just an example. But yeah, no, it's always a blur. And yeah, at the end, it's just like a collective.
Let's do our likelies before we do our trues. So we've started doing this thing called assumptions, which are like things we can assume will be true, but aren't for sure. One thing I marked on here, in episode 2, Elaine, you had predicted that Rakita Carr will be Wonka's love interest. And I've said this is likely false. We don't know for sure. I mean, I think we know there's not going to be a love interest in this movie, but I'm not calling it out yet. But she does seem to be with like a group of other characters only. So I don't think she
and they didn't drop any hint of that in the trailer, and they probably would have made that like at least a 2-second moment or something.
And this gives me hope for Wonka's later romance arc with Wilkinson. Not that he can't romance both, it just doesn't feel like the right point in his life, you know?
Exactly.
I predicted that Wonka will have no love interest in the film. This is likely true. We don't know for sure. And I know most people would be like, oh, you can count that as true. I don't want to take shit back, okay? I don't want to have to roll shit back. It's not fun.
We are very scientific here, and we only follow the facts. And we're not gonna just wholeheartedly just throw it out there. We need to see the concrete evidence.
Now, this is when you predicted there was going to be a tiny animal that is going after Matt Lucas and Keegan-Michael Key in a weird C-plot, maybe a squirrel throwing nuts. Now, this isn't going to be true, but I think you might get a partially true here.
Because
there's
chases.
So many fucking animals.
Which, like, to be fair, if I had thrown out, oh, they're going to get chased by a giraffe, we all would have been like, what the fuck, Elaine?
Exactly.
So, it's, so that's good to know. That's good to know. Getting close.
Yeah. This is a theory I have. I think that Tom Davis is going to be implied to be Augustus's dad.
I would love that.
He's wearing lederhosen.
Absolutely love that.
I put in honor of that one of the factory parents' kids will appear in the film as an Easter egg, which I predicted in episode 31 as likely true. Now, granted, that may be a bit of a stretch. It may not be likely true, but also, like, you can't put a character in lederhosen in Wonka without it meaning something.
You can't at all.
In my opinion,
with what they do in costume
whatever happens, I'm headcanoning him as Augustus's dad.
I fully agree.
If he is German and ever references liking food and is some sort of butcher, I will be like, oh, he's Augustus's dad. Like, I'm not gonna. Yeah. I won't even. I don't need official confirmation. I don't need a last name. Like, I'm gonna take.
If there's enough there, counting it for sure.
I predicted there will be some sort of small device like a robot which is a prediction you hate, but it's probably true. Looking at this, he's got a lot of machines, right?
That's true. That's fair.
These
I
may
think
be false.
my problem is when I think of robot, I think of like a machine that talks and moves more human-esque. So that's where a lot of my beef
I was
came
thinking
from
of
with
like a
that,
little beetle machine. Like it doesn't do anything. It just like moves around on a table.
Okay.
Like a Roomba, you know?
Yeah. Definitely more likely, for sure.
And now probably the most insane one that I'm so happy to say this is getting a likely to be partially true, okay? Not fully true, because we know how to answer the rest of it, but my bird with a personality moment. Now let's hear the full prediction. There's a bird on the ship that has a fun personality moment where it steals a french fry or something. Does not count if a bird appears. The bird must take action. I don't think there's going to be a bird on the ship. There might be. But I think if a flamingo has a strong personality moment, I get a partially correct.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I'm not... I felt reluctant to put this in. But I was like, I do have to admit, this is a potential, you know?
Which is hilarious.
So, those aren't the strongest assumptions, but they were what I had, you know? And they're very easily... I put the assumptions on there with the knowledge that they may be proven false. So don't hold me to any of this, you know?
Allegedly.
But now, we have the real predictions. The first correct prediction is from me. In episode 1, I said that they will put an instrumental cover of Pure Imagination in the trailer with bells. Correct.
Right from the beginning. Amazing.
Episode 2, I said Keegan-Michael Key is French. Wrong. Episode 8, you said and Oompa Loompa will give Timmy Wonka the purple coat. That's wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
We both made predictions about what Timothée Chalamet's tweets pre-trailer would be. Those were both wrong. Which, by the way, what he said was Oompa Loompa Doopity Grant. Which is
good.
It's good. I'm also mad that everyone's doing Oompa Loompa, because it feels worse to say. I understand phonetically Oompa Loompa, but I hate making
Huka Loompa is a lot more fun to say, and it gives you a springboard. That G gives you a springboard.
Exactly,
into the
versus
rest of the word.
Oompa Loompa, it feels like I'm falling into a pit. It feels like I'm in a bouncy house and it's deflating on top of me when I say Oompa Loompa.
It's rough on the nasal. It's a bit of a strain.
It feels like
Oompa Loompa.
I don't know. It feels like something you'd say at a funeral. These were yours. I just want to say. You said God. Wonka, Wonkaka, Kwawawa, Wonka Loompa, Honk Honk, Wawa, Wonka, Syrup, Fudge Mellow, Whipple Dipple, Scrumpty Funky.
You know
Those
what?
were yours.
I still like it.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it.
I did way too many. I did Bonka, Gonka, Tonka, Lompka, Candy Cane, Candy Man, Candy Boner, Chocolate Chips, Chocolate Chunk, Chocolate Chug, Scrumpta-Lunka Bunkus. We were both wrong, but I'm glad we made predictions. That was episode 42. This is like a year ago.
If we put that all together, is that a Beastie Boys song?
I mean, you got the closest with Wonka Loomka.
For now, it's a no. There's still a lot of time for him to tweet, so.
Yeah. But I feel confident because he normally does it for the first trailer.
What's our timeline of Timothée Chalamet tweets?
He did Dern Flurf, all right? And then he did Boner Bone for Bones and All, okay? So those are two.
I know. Just laughing at, like...
Okay.
The intensity of where you just came from that too. No, there's been 2 movies already where he's already done it, Elaine!
So stupid. Okay, we will see a gear. Modified from Gears Will Turn, because I didn't want to live in a reality where there were gears that did not turn. That was episode 43, and we see a gear turn at 0 minutes and 23 seconds in the trailer, and I got so fucking excited when he pulled out the little suitcase, and I was like, I bet there's a fucking gear in there. Timmy Wonka's clothes will get dirtied. I predicted this episode 37 in response to your, he will get mud spilled on him. Something spilled on him, and I don't know if the drowning by chocolate river counts, because it appears like it's not going directly on him, it's raising up around him. Well,
I guess we'll have to see. But it's getting close.
We don't have enough information, but I got he will get dirty.
There's also the possibility of, like, he's trying to make something and then he spills it on himself.
Oh, no,
so
totally.
I think
it will happen.
Fingers crossed.
But because
I'm noticing a trend here, Felicia. I'm noticing a trend of mine are not coming true, but yours are. So this bodes really well for me.
Movie novelization. Correct.
Boom.
That was from me, episode 49. You said someone's gonna have a French accent. I think Slugworth did.
I hope. I'm going to be...
I put it as
I get to be rightfully incredibly pissed if there's not a single French accent in this movie.
I think everything we can understand is Slugworth is French. There's plenty of French signage in this, so someone's going to have a French accent.
Someone has to.
That was episode 45. I said Wonka will try and sell his candy at a local market like a bazaar. I put very close on this because it's not really a bazaar, but he is selling.
But he's like on the street.
He's the sunglasses guy at the mall. He's the guy who's trying to sell you the hair straightener. Episode 77, Matt Lucas's prod nose, that was me. And then episode 86, There Will Be a Train, which was also correct. If we look at the statistics, I feel a little bad about this, but Elaine...
It's not a test, it's not a competition.
Yeah. Elaine, you had 1 correct, 2 incorrect, 1 likely true, and 1 likely false. I had 6 correct, 2 incorrect, 1 very close, and 4 likely true. So here's the thing. I will say I just had more predictions that could be ascertained from this trailer. And also, I have more predictions overall.
You do tend to make like 2 to 3 predictions each episode.
And a lot of mine are so niche that we'll never be able to know about them until the movie actually comes out. And half of them, people will have to scroll through it frame by frame to figure out if I'm even fucking right. You know? So, would it be objectively hilarious if for some reason one of us gets all of them right and the other one gets all of them wrong? It would be funny. I don't want that because I also don't want to be the one that gets them right or the one that gets them all wrong, because both would suck to be in that situation because it feels random. Like, I don't feel like, oh, it's just because I have better insight. No, it's not that. It's just
they've both been very chaotic, I feel like. You know, like we've both just got lucky. Which is, it's still hilarious that, like, how of all these the cartel will forever go down in history as the most insane prediction that you made. Italian mobster cartel, same vibe. And Prodnose is Italian.
Actually.
So, I think I might have
put that in the right area. Now I can put that as fully correct. If he's Italian,
you get to fully. If he's Italian, boom, which he is. He's got the Cioccolato thing going on, so that's fantastic. So yes, I'm very happy. Now you just wait and see once we get a hand on that score, and you see that all my musical predictions were correct. When we get that strong timpani presence, all of you are gonna be laughing. No, you're not. I really hope that one comes true. That's like my one calling card.
Oh man, I didn't even have the Italian mobster element in the prequel marked as correct. I had it as likely true.
Oh, well.
So fun fact on our full statistics sheet, that means 9% of our predictions are true, while only 7% are incorrect.
Okay, that's pretty good, considering.
I have 7% correct. Elena's 2% correct. And I have 2% wrong and you have 5% wrong. But I don't think it'll stay that way because I made some shit fucking predictions.
There was a stretch there where it was very hilarious, wild, like, just, I don't fucking know. He's gonna have, like, an earlobe. I don't know. Like, such great stuff. I'm excited to see it. I am not shocked by these results. I will say that. I am not shocked at all by these results. So
I just hope that we collectively get more correct than we get wrong. Like, I don't really care what our individual ratings
I want
are
over
besides
50.
jokes.
If we got, I kind of want to think about it like voter turnout. It's really exciting if you get like 20%, and I kind of want us to have that vibe too. Because like I think if we get 20% or higher, that's actually fucking fantastic. Seeing as this is literally the first time we've actually had plot to play with.
We've made over 200 predictions without a trailer,
with literally nothing but like occasional quotes about chocolate. Like that's it. So Yeah, so honestly, we're doing pretty good. If we somehow
get above, like, 30 or 40%, I think it proves that all of our work has been worth it, you know?
It's been amazing.
We're just so tuned into the vibes.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so now we have to deliver our actual predictions from this trailer. I mean, I'll say my one because I kind of already said it. I think Tom Davis's character is going to be implied to be Augustus's dad.
My prediction is that the reason that Willy Wonka goes on his adventure... Well, okay, so I actually have 2 things here. I don't know if we get to count both of them, but I had 2 main theories about the mom. One theory... actually, it'll probably be that... It doesn't, because one of my theories was that he goes on this travels and then he learns his mom died while he was on his travels, and he doesn't realize that until he comes back, and then it's like a harsh moment. But I think what probably does more happen is that the reason he goes on his 7-year journey is his mom passes away, and her like dying thing was like, go follow your dreams, and that's why it like
that would make sense,
stays in his head. So that's my prediction there.
I believe that. I'm going to say Slugworth is the chocolate cartel leader. I think it's kind of obvious, but I'm still going to make the prediction. I think it's fair to say... Is that a prediction or is that just context clues?
I think the answer can be yes. I mean,
Okay.
Nothing's confirmed. I mean,
Is it too obvious?
I think it's I guess we need to establish. Well,
it didn't occur to me immediately.
It's definitely.
I caught it on the second watch.
Yeah, if you caught it on the second watch, I think it gets to be okay. I feel like, I don't know. If you say it, I think that automatically gets to be put in the likely category.
I'm gonna say it's a Slugworth is the chocolate cartel leader, and there is an internal power struggle between them about it.
I love that. That's perfect.
That's a prediction.
Fantastic.
That is a prediction. It needed something else. Can we put in, I mean, formally, I agree with you so hard on your one about the chocolatiers who have been beaten down and now have to work in the factory.
Yes, that's my other one I'd love to throw out, actually. That was like a big thing I was feeling.
I'm not going to steal it from you, but you're so right.
So excited.
I think there's going to be a weird romance between Tom Davis and Olivia Colman.
Ooh.
Implied romance.
Yeah. I could see that.
I also think Willie leaves at the end of the movie in a bittersweet ending, and I have actual reasoning for this, okay? So, this is actual reasoning that I probably should have laid out during the trailer breakdown, but because it's a prediction, I want to talk about it. So, we saw 2 things filmed at that place with the Lydia Eva, right? We had Willie on there, time to show the world my recipe, bumping around on the little back of the truck, right?
Yeah.
And then, could that be a reprise of his introduction song? Perhaps. We'll think about it. But on the dock seeing him off was Slugworth, Fickle Grubber, and Prodnose. Now, this would be like, okay, whatever. Maybe they heard about this chocolate guy coming and they're going to seek him out. But the thing is who else is there? It's Keegan-Michael Key. And this is after the 2 weeks of chocolate eating because he's got the fat suit on.
Yes.
Which implies this is at the end of the film or later in the plot.
Yeah.
Now, granted, maybe this all just happens at the end for some reason. This has nothing to go. But I think maybe this is near the end when he's about to leave. It doesn't fully make sense, but I'm using it to say that maybe he leaves and moves on to greater pastures to find the factory and, like, leaves Noodle to, like, carry on his legacy here.
I like the bittersweet ending idea. I've definitely, like, one of my things I've definitely now thought, I think I've always kind of thought it, but, like, now this really hit home. I think it's going to have closure, but it's definitely going to be open-ended and, like, you're really like, oh god, the next adventure is happening. And I definitely think we'll have I like the bittersweet ending. That or he's gonna get marooned on an island and banished, like Gossip Girl, how they somehow kick people out of like the city, which makes no sense. Fuck, that'd be absolutely hilarious.
And then my last prediction, this is really specific. I think the seafood truck merchant is not an actual character, because I was thinking at first as a side character. I'm like, no, I think he just accidentally keeps screwing over this one specific truck.
Yeah,
because he hops on the back of it like a stowaway to get back, and then later in the film, when all the flamingos are summoned, they're eating shrimp out of it. I'm like, this feels like every time he does something major, somehow the seafood truck gets fucked over because of it. And that's my prediction.
I like it.
Now, I'm going to say bonus points if Simon Farnaby's the seafood truck driver.
Oh, that'd be really good.
I already said he was a ship's captain. I don't believe that anymore because there's a guy who is the ship's captain, and I almost have his name memorized, which is fucked up because I looked at the IMDb so much. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I can picture his name. It's not Alfredo Tavare. It's somebody else. I wonder if Alfredo Tavare knows how much we care about Alfredo Tavare.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to be like, where's Alfredo?
We're going to have, I predict we're going to have a funeral scene in the movie officially, and it's Wonka's mom as the funeral scene. Because again,
I mean, there is a mourner.
There's a mourner, and I was just thinking about that, and I was like, I think an official scene we'll see is, because I think we'll have the whole flashback of like, this was his life, here's his mom, boom, funeral scene.
I think, okay, sorry, this is just to see how many times I look at this IMDb to prove it to people. I think the ship captain's first name, the guy who's playing him, is Murray, and the second name starts with a G. Murray MacArthur. So close.
Oh, man. So
I'm gonna be like, that's Murray MacArthur, bitch! Like the saddest fucking...
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for listening to this beautiful, long, juicy episode. I'm sure you guys have a ton of thoughts on the trailer. Some of you guys have obviously already reached out, but our DMs are open. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at WonkaWatch, and you can also send us literal emails at wonkarapture@gmail.com. If you would like to support the Candy Coated Chaos that is the podcast, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/WonkaWatch. We have movie commentary. We have us playing Pop Tropica Wonka, which broke us, and other fun goodies there. A hit album also bumping around there too. So definitely go check it out. And speaking of, when you do sign up, you get a little shout out on the podcast that comes in the form of an improvised song done by yours truly. So we have a couple people here today. Very exciting. We have Thomas, we got Dylan, and Clara.
Clara. Yeah, they said, I love y'all so much. Thank you for making car rides and cleaning so much more fun. And also, you know from last week, Drew bought us a chocolate bar and said, Parliament has received and read the letter. And also asked if we could give a shout out to his fiancée, Christina. So shout out, Christina.
Hey, what's up, Christina? Christina, yeah.
I prepared the song Alpine Beer Hall.
Oh, fuck. Is Augustus' voice about to come out? Is Augustus' voice about to come? Oh, fuck, y'all. Everything is so beautiful here in the hills full of music. I look out into the valley and I see my 3 favorite goats. Their names are Thomas, Dylan, Clara. They're very silly Hera. They come and I milk them and get their feta. Sorry, not saying that, but I love to dance with them. We drink lots of beer and we like to have fun. I like to poke fun at them and they poke fun at me. Little goats, Thomas, Dylan, Clara, love to hang out with you at the beer hall. It's a party, yeah. Everybody comes on the train and we like to eat little sandwiches and we all giggle, clap, and we're going to do dance, yeah. Oh, he.
I think that broke your brain. It was amazing, though.
I had the time of my life, so...
When you started singing about little sandwiches, I was like, wow. We have gone off the rails.
I was really excited about feta, but I didn't...
Yeah.
We've gone rocket.
So I just bleeped the section where you talk about milking them.
That's... I was like, wait, no, I just want feta because goats. And I was like, oh no. So apologies there. I'm going to stop talking now. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Very much appreciate you guys signing up there. And, again, this is kind of a big fucking deal, actually, getting the Wonka trailer and learning so much more and all these Paul King interviews and, like, all these good nuggets. Like, at the end of the day, the grand scheme, the point is that a lot of people have seen this trailer now and they're just now learning about it, and people are still probably not going to know about it, and they don't give a shit. So it's really, it's not that important. It's really
let me
not
bring
that
this joke
important.
home. This trailer is fun and interesting and crazy and wild, but it's not that important.
It's not that important.
Oh my gosh.
Good.
It's me, Hugh Grant, and even I think it's not that important. And I'm a sarcastic Oompa Loompa of a man. That's a thing that was said to me. Do you think he stays up late at night and thinks about that was something that was said to him? That someone said, I was casting an Oompa Loompa and I immediately thought of you.
I mean, that would stay with me. Yeah. Someone once told me every time they eat a cheeseburger, they thought of me. And, don't know what to do with that, but...
Yeah. It's not that important.
It's not that important. Bye.
Bye.